Hello, all you ham bones out there, and welcome to another episode of Marsham Toy Hour. We're your hosts. I'm George.
I'm Teresa Hawkins.
And I'm Gary Ham.
And we are here to bring you everything in the world of toys that we care to talk about today. Today is a special day, guys. Today we have a very special guest with us. Do you want to get right into it?
Well, and you're hosting. Bravo, George. I like this.
I'm so nervous. I've never hosted before.
It's weird. Every time I do it, I weird myself out and I don't know what I'm saying, and I'm just ready for someone else to talk. So I'm helping you out, stepping in, giving you some conversation.
Well, I'm no Gary Wordsmith, so I'm just going to bring in our guest by saying he's a guy that does stuff for a long time in this scene.
Wow. George, you just described 90% of the people in the toy scene.
Hey, everyone knows who this is. Everyone knows what this show is.
So let's get right to it. Ben Goretsky.
Hey,
creator
everybody.
Of DesignerCon. Purveyor of fine toys at 3D Retro.
I prefer the guy who's been doing things for a long time. Let's go with that. I like that one.
Poor George.
And George, you've been hosting for over 10 years. So
never hosted once.
You have been, maybe, I don't know about this show, but you have been hosting for over 10 years. So you know, or you should know what you're doing.
George has had his hand held for a very long time. Time for him to start walking.
No way. Why walk when someone will carry you?
Yeah, we want to take the training wheels off. It's time for you to fly.
Ooh,
go down.
I like that.
Well, Ben, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. Has it been a full year since the last time we talked to you?
I think it's been even more than a year, probably. Yeah.
Last year when we had you on, we brought you on pretty early, I think pretty soon after 5 points to get kind of an early scoop. And this year we decided we wait. We're about, I don't know, I'm a month away.
Yeah, we're 32, 33 days away from the show.
But who's counting, right?
The little counter on the website.
Is it beating faster every day that knocks off?
Every day I'm just trying not to have a heart attack, and it's not working.
Well, just in case there's someone new who's never heard the show before, and if there is, welcome. I'm the always host, George. The show we're talking about is DesignerCon. It is in Anaheim, California. It is the weekend before Thanksgiving. I don't know the dates, Ben. What are the dates?
November 22nd through the 24th. The weekend with Thanksgiving.
There you go. So everyone go look that up, designercon.com. Let's get that out of the way. If you want to go to the website while we're talking, take a look around, maybe look at old show pictures, that kind of stuff. But let's get into it, Ben. We got questions for you. We've got queries. What other words can I use for questions?
I got to tell you, out of all the podcasts that I do, in terms of promoting the show, this one is the one that I am most nervous about.
Why is that?
Oh, Ben!
That's because we're going to ask you the hard questions and make you answer them.
No, it's because this is the one that whenever anybody wants to call me out on something or complain about something, they're like, let's use the footage or the audio from the Marsham Toy Hour to totally destroy Ben. This is, for some reason, this is the haters' go-to guide right here.
Well, we're going to fill them up with great clips to clip from you. saying
lots of sound bites coming this episode.
Oh, that's amazing.
Gary, I really hope you throw in some good O's this episode.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I liked how that. So what we're referring to is Ben came on last year and did a discussion with us, and someone took a lot of what Ben said and took sound bites from that and made a YouTube video of it. And they also took me saying "oh" a bunch of times to what Ben said, and they made this funny little YouTube video with it. And so let's try to avoid that again this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that no matter what, if people want to do things like that, they're just going to do it. So, if it happens again, it happens again. But It is what it is.
All right,
it's
so
all
let's
good.
start with the first question.
Okay.
So here,
Ben,
see,
why
Yes.
did you ruin DesignerCon for everyone?
Well, let's see. So many reasons why I wanted to ruin it for everyone.
Why do you hate art toys?
I hate everything about this industry, and I only love mainstream toys, and that's it. That's it. That's basically all of it right there. I don't. Is that really a question?
No, I just wanted to start off with a hard one.
Okay, good.
Gary, Teresa, loft of something soft.
well, so yeah, I'm kind of. We could start with the elephant in the room and get it over with, Ben,
let's do it.
or you want to
Yeah.
do it?
What? Go ahead. Let's
Okay.
do this.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, get past it, and then we'll go into other stuff.
You say so.
Okay. So last year we had you on and things were said
Yes.
around the big F, Funko.
Yeah.
So Gary, you can plead the fifth through this whole segment. Legal blah blah. Gary doesn't believe any of these things. He loves his job. But things were said. That was one of the things that came up, and that was what a lot of people latched on, is the whole Funko coming to DesignerCon. And, you were saying a lot about, look, like them coming does not mean that Pops are coming to DesignerCon. I don't want that. And it seems like things are happening that contradict this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The biggie being no Pops at DCon. And of course, we've now seen that Pops will be there. So I think, I mean, in the scene in general, I think people would like you to address that elephant of what's up.
What's going on with that? Okay, so a lot going back to last year. One of the things that we talked about was, Funko came to us and we were like, there's no way that we want this big Funko booth that has like just this massive line for Funko exclusives, basically the same kind of like setup that they would have at like a San Diego Comic-Con or a New York Comic-Con or any of the other cons that they do. So when we started talking to them, they basically, understood where we were coming from. And Mike Becker, who, if you guys have watched the documentary, you should know who he is. He's like the original founder of Funko. Really nice guy, actually. Talked to me and he said, look, I know what your show is about. He's actually been a vendor of the show. And he's like, we want to try something completely different at DesignerCon. We don't want to sell Funko Pop. I'm like, okay. And that's where the whole cereal thing came from. All right. So that's what we did last year. And of course, the whole thing about it was people didn't really understand what we were going to be doing. And that's why there was this huge outcry about like, it's Funko and they're coming to the show and they're going to be selling pop and blah, 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 blah. And then of course they came to the show and they're like, wait a minute, they're just like selling cereal and cereal bowls and everything just like related to cereal and like t-shirts related to cereal. And they weren't selling pop at all. Now, also, one of the things I should mention is that even though we say that we don't want like the Funko Pop, like this big, huge push of like Funko Pop, you have to understand that we don't restrict what our vendors sell. We never have and we never will. And Pop has been sold at the show for years, since it came out. I mean, hell, even 3D Retro, my store, like we sell Pop at the 3D Retro booth because we have it in our store, because we are a retail store and we need to buy things that people like to buy in the toy world. And so the fact of like Funko Pop has never been at DesignerCon, that's not true. Funko Pop has always been sold at DesignerCon. It's just being sold by all these different vendors. Now, we don't have like walls of the stuff and things like that. And, once again, if anybody comes in and brings it, I don't think they're going to have a lot of sales like you would at a con like San Diego, but we're never going to come up to that vendor and be like, you can't do this. You can't sell this here. You need to get out. We just don't do that. So that's in regards to like the whole thing that happened last year. Now, this year, if you guys need to know all the details, first of all, Funko is not involved at the show. if you notice, Funko doesn't have a booth. They're not coming back to the show this year, and they're just in no way involved. What we do have going on is we have a really cool art show with Mark Hamill called Hamilton. And the art show revolves around his career in voice acting. So when we were talking to the people that represent Mark Hamill, one of the things they mentioned was that, like, hey, we were supposed to release this pop at New York Comic Con, but it didn't make it in time. Is it okay if we go ahead and sell it at DesignerCon? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Let's make it a show exclusive. Why not? There's a whole art show dedicated to him. It ties in very nicely. If that's what you guys want to do, we'll help you do it. And that's exactly what we're doing. So there. That's basically the gist of it.
It makes sense. Now,
and that's the thing, like, we don't release a lot of information before the show. We like to surprise people. We like people coming into the show and going like, whoa, what's this? Or we like relinquish information near the end of the whole thing, like right before the show starts. Yep. So a lot of the time we get a lot of people that take the little bits of information that are out there and they totally just run with it. Like when we announced, like, yeah, there's an exclusive Mark Hamill pop at the show. It's like, oh, damn, there it is. Funko's going to be at the show. They're going to have a huge booth. DesignerCon's completely sold out. It's done. And honestly, guys, at this point, with the size of the show and the way it is, if Funko did come to me and say that they wanted a booth to sell exclusive pop and things like that, I would probably let them in at this point. Because what we realized from last year is that the floor plan is so big and so spacious that we can put them in. We had them on one side of the hall last year. And unless you were specifically going to them, it had no effect on the rest of the hall. Yeah. So, there's that. But they're not coming back. That's not the point. The point is that people take the information that we release and they just go with it, and they just like start saying things and just going off what they think is going to happen. And most of the time it's not right.
Yeah, but Ben, when you dangle that little carrot, people are going to chase it. And that, like, you got to know that you are kind of poking the bear a little bit. When you throw up a thing with like a little eyeball emojis and you see Decon exclusive stickers, people are going to speculate. So,
You've got to be doing that on purpose to stir the pot, though. I mean,
right.
You're trying to get this.
You're getting people talking, which you probably don't hate because you want people talking DesignerCon, but people are going to react. That's what we do. So everyone's going to be like, what's this? What's the sticker? And then everyone's talking about it in groups behind the scenes like, oh my God, here it is.
That's all Kevin's fault. That's not me. That's all
Anything
Kevin.
that's wrong, just blame Kevin.
Do you know that he posted something on his Instagram story that was it was a Kevin. It was so on Kevin's desk. He has it's a joke that we have on his desk. We have Funko Pop. That's basically all the Kevin figures. So there's like a Home Alone Kevin, and there's the Ghostbusters Kevin, and there's all these Kevin figures. He just has Kevin figures on his desk. So when we were doing the sticker for the Mark Hamill, we were like, well, let's print it out actual size and see how big it looks when we put it on a Funko Pop box. He just took one off of his desk, and he was like, okay, well, if we place it here, how does it look? He posted that, and everybody was like, they're going to have a Ghostbusters exclusive figure. And it was just like, I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh, but yeah, I mean,
That's hilarious. I didn't realize it was a joke. How would anyone know? That's like in articles and stuff of like, here's another one that was leaked.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not even a joke. It's just he did it, he posted it, and we just let it out, or he let it out there. And like I said, people ran with it. People thought like not even thinking like, why would they? Why like that's the Kevin Ghostbusters figure that they released over what, a year and a half or 2 years ago? And what does that have to do with any of the new Funkos that would be released? Why would they do like nobody would stop to think, and they kind of just ran with it. So it's interesting to see what people say, and you guys are right. We love it when people talk about the show. Any press is good press, and you know, until you actually get to the show, sometimes you really don't know what we're going to be doing.
You're throwing us curveballs, and that's why we're throwing you hardballs.
Oh, I see how it is.
Now,
actually, while we're talking about Instagram and things like that, we should say congratulations. I saw that you're validated. What's it called? What is it called?
Oh yeah, we got validated.
Verified.
Verified. We did get verified.
You're
Yeah.
legit.
We got a little blue check box next to our name now, which is awesome.
DesignerCon is official.
We are official.
Fancy. Now, okay, so I want to ask a question because it kind of relates to the whole. Sorry, George, am I not allowed to ask questions?
No, go ahead. I just got bit by the cat.
Oh.
Oh!
Ow.
Oh, George.
Go ahead.
George.
I'm going to put myself on mute for a second.
Please don't bleed to death.
We lost our host.
George is screaming on the other end right now.
I know.
So many profanities. It's ridiculous.
All right, I'm back.
Are you done?
Well, okay. So, related to this whole Funko stuff, Ben, I know that the way that you tied the Hamill Pop releases, you mentioned it's a show exclusive, and you tied it to a new pass called the MVP.
Yes.
And so I honestly am still a little bit confused. So I thought maybe you could cover. So there's the base passes, right? You can buy a day pass or a weekend pass. And then you have VIP,
Yep.
which I assume is the same as last year, right? Where
Yes.
there's the VIP night on Friday. That's VIP only.
Yep.
And is it MVP as well?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So can you just explain the difference? Yeah, like what are the perk differences and prices and all that?
Okay, so one of the pop that is being released by like the Hamill people through DesignerCon is this purple metallic Mark Hamill dressed up as Joker pop. And there's, just to give you some numbers, there's less than 1,000 of these available. And one of the things is because the numbers were so low, we were like, okay, how do we go about releasing this pop or offering out to people? And one of the ideas thrown to us was like, well, can you create this ticket package? And we're like, well, we already have the VIP. And so we came up with the Mark Hamill MVP, which gives you everything that the VIP does, but it already has built in the 2 exclusive pops that DesignerCon is basically selling with the Mark Hamill people, which is there's the regular Mark Hamill in the Lava Bear shirt, and then there's the purple metallic Joker one. So
we should mention that the Lava Bear shirt is also related to our scene in a way that was designed by Nathan.
Correct. And that's actually one of the cooler things is like part of the reason that I guess Mark actually allowed them to create the pop was because it would promote Nathan's design and Nathan's shirt. You can actually look up footage from him at like Funko Fun Days where he actually says that to the crowd. So yeah, so the whole MVP thing it's extremely limited because it's based on how many we have of these purple metallic Jokers. And it's a way for people to basically guarantee themselves getting it. Like if you want this, you have to be an MVP. And a lot of people have asked us like, okay, look, if I'm a VIP and I come to the show, can I buy the MVP from like the Decon booth? No, you can't. The only way you can get this purple pop is if you buy an MVP ticket. And that's just the rule of it. But also included with the MVP is the other pop as well. So you're automatically getting both of these pop in your MVP package.
So the purple one is MVP only. You have to buy that pass. That's the only way to get it. The other one will be included in it, but there's also the ability for people to buy that at the show as well.
Right. Now, one of the things that we did for VIPs, because a lot of VIPs were like, oh, the whole point about like VIP is that like I get in early, so what do I do? Have to like stand in line during my VIP time just to get this pop if I want it? And we're like, no, actually, if you're a VIP, one of the things you can do is you can pre-purchase one of the original Mark Hamill wearing the Nathan shirt. So as a VIP, you don't have to get it, but you have the option to pre-buy it and secure it for yourself. So you don't have to like go inside the hall Friday and go stand in line and buy this pop figure. You can still go to all these other booths, and then right before you leave, you can stop by and pick up your pop. Or you can come back Saturday and pick up your pop. Or right before you leave on Sunday, you can come and pick up your pop. It doesn't matter because it's already secured for you. You don't have to worry about going to buy it. Now, we have had people ask, like, well, what if I want to buy more than one? What if I want to buy like 3 or 4? If you want to buy more than one, yes, you have the option of buying that one at the show. But the benefit of being a VIP is that you kind of get early access to all that. Yep. So if you do want more than one, if you do want to buy like 3 or 4 or 5 or a case or whatever, then your best bet is to become a VIP or an MVP if you want that purple one. Get into the show earlier than everyone else because you're a VIP, and then pick up the one that you've already pre-ordered and then be able to purchase more if you want more.
Makes sense.
Okay, so what are the prices of the VIP and the MVP pass?
Well, all the prices are available online, but if you get the VIP package, the VIP is $70. That's your VIP ticket. If you want, as a VIP, you can pre-order the regular Mark Hamill pop, and that's a $40 pop. Okay? So basically, you can pre-order that, but if you get the MVP, it's a $200 package.
Basically, it's $70 for VIP, $40 for the regular pop, and $90 for the purple.
Right.
I mean, that's how it breaks out. So
when I'm in line at PopCon outside and I want to go in, DCon outside.
That's such an ass.
George is the best host ever. Please do this every week.
Oh. He does. He does it all the time on Toy Geeks.
Please, if I wasn't giving Ben shit, it wouldn't be me.
Oh my God. Go ahead, George. What were you saying?
No, I got my joke in. That was all.
Oh, that was it? Okay. All right. Thanks. Here's what it comes down to. And this should be the end all for the whole Funko conversation. And like, why are we doing this and why and that? And like, granted, there's a whole art show that's dedicated to Mark and all this. And we're working directly with his people to do this. And, that's how we got this whole pop thing going. But look, at the end of the day, I need to figure out a way to get more people in the door, right? Because there's so many vendors in there selling so much cool stuff that I needed to introduce this world to all these buyers, to all these potential buyers, to all these potential collectors, and this audience that we're trying to get involved in our community. And at the end of it all, yeah, these guys are going to come in and they might be there just for that pop, just for that purple pop or that Nathan Hamill shirt pop. But once they're in there, they're not going to walk out right after they get that pop. They're going to look around. They've already paid to get into the show. So that's just that many more people walking the hall, looking at all the other stuff, possibly purchasing things, and possibly getting into this scene a little bit more. That's really what it comes down to.
I concur. I think there's so much. After last year, there was such a big, it was a shitstorm almost of just, WTS, like what the hell's going on? What's happening to DesignerCon, blah, blah, blah. But as someone who was there, it caused no issue whatsoever. It's not like DesignerCon suddenly became NYCC or SDCC and there were crazy lines at every single booth or anything like that. It was just more people attending. And there's like, we constantly talk about the scene and how we want it to stay around. And the only way to do that is to bring more people in and put eyeballs on the stuff that we're doing. So
Right.
at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. I mean, I get it. I mean, on the flip side, what people don't want, though, is for DesignerCon to become that, to fully transition to a New York Comic Con or a San Diego, where
Right.
the designer toy section just becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and get pushed to a corner. No one wants that, right?
Yeah,
But-
no, nobody wants that. But at the same time, like, it's funny because the focus is so much on this one thing that we're doing that people aren't even noticing the 10 other amazing things that are happening at the show.
Well, 10. I mean, let's talk about the other, 100 aisles of amazing things. Like
Right.
there's,
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
But I'm just
we've
talking.
done enough. We've done enough pop talk for the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
But
we
I'm
need
just
to-
saying, like, forget about the stuff that was there last year. Let's talk about the new stuff that's going to be there this year. I mean, why aren't people complaining that, oh my gosh, you have like a whole gallery section in the show now? Because
Wait.
what? Because it's art related? Yeah, we have Beyond Eden. Like, this is incredible. Like, if you think about it, we've taken Beyond Eden, which is like the people that started Littletopia, and all these major art galleries that are related in our scene that support pop surrealism, street and urban art, these galleries which usually only save themselves for shows like, Los Angeles, Art Week or something like that. And now they're part of DesignerCon, meaning if you go to DCon, you can see all the cool art that you would have to go to another fair or another show to see. Or how about the fact that we're getting some of these major streetwear brands involved into the show? The fact that we have Extra Large coming out from Japan, and they have their entire D-Face collaboration that's going to be available at DesignerCon. Like, why aren't people saying like, oh, I can't believe they're getting apparel involved in the show? But if we get something that, I don't know, is it just a stigma of pop or something? Because they bring in a certain crowd, apparel brings in a certain crowd, galleries bring in a certain crowd. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get all these people into the show that all cross over into this world, and just trying to build an audience and keep the show going.
I get it.
and I think that's all good things, and I think that the little things that get added each year only help the show. And there's always going to be haters for one thing or another. I'm sure there's someone who hates that you'll have apparel there, or someone will hate that you have an art show and it's, I couldn't get a booth because there's an art show there instead. It's like, well, there's that kind of stuff. Someone will say that. You might not hear it. It might not be as vocal, but there will be someone saying things like that. Everything that everyone does, there's always a hater for something. So let's focus less on the hate of things and more on the good things, like you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Is there going to be is there going to be a pin section like last year? The enamel market going to be back? And
Yeah, the enamel market is back. Actually, it's bigger than last year. There's going to be over 40 pin designers and vendors at the enamel market, and it's going to be incredible. So we're getting people into the enamel market from all over the US and actually different parts of the world. Like international pin vendors are coming in and participating in enamel market because it's at DesignerCon.
that's
Now,
awesome.
Ben, have you
Yes.
fixed it? Because last year, if I recall the pin area, it was kind of a weird little skinny black market with teeny aisles.
We did open up the aisles a little bit, and the thing is, it is run by Enamel Market, so they kind of have control over that area. But we, first of all, the positioning of the area wasn't too great, and we talked to the decorator and we opened it up a little bit, so it should be better this year.
Okay, good. It was like this weird I mean, we talked a lot about aisles. For some reason, we like to talk a lot about the way you did aisles because, that's the important thing, not the toys. But everything was so wide. So when you got to the pin section, it was like this weird skinny section amongst the sea of wide aisles. So I was just curious.
But we heard your input about the aisles, and the aisles are actually a little bit tighter this year. Last year we had 20-foot aisles, and this year we squeezed them down to 15.
Nice. I noticed that.
Are there
when you
signs?
compare,
Yes, there are going to be aisle signs this year.
yeah.
So you
And
can look up and see where you are.
Yay! Well,
That's
I was going to
very
say,
helpful.
if you compare 2018 to 2019, you can see the difference in the aisle size. And you can see it looks like you've squeezed in a heck of a lot more booths.
Not a heck of a lot more, but there are, I would say, maybe like 50 more booths.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were less than 50 booths at the first 6 DesignerCons.
Yes, there were. We actually, by squeezing it down by 5 feet, we actually added 1 extra aisle. That's
cool.
what it did.
Well, and I'm very happy that also there's that weird kind of angled wall on the left side. And I know you had stuff lined there last time, and it felt kind of weird. Like you'd have this show and then a gap and then these weird aisles. And I see you've basically pretty much gotten rid of that, which I think is good. Everyone's kind of in the show.
I'm going to address that with you guys because I listened to the post show and you guys were like, yeah, why were they up against that wall? Why would Ben put them there? It's like by the time you walk over there, you're just like, I'm done. I'm going to turn around and go. I just want you guys to know that every single vendor that was up against that wall was put there because they wanted to be up against that wall. I'm not kidding. When we were planning it out, the whole idea was that wall, we should get rid of all of those booths. Because when we get the floor map from the convention center and the decorator, they give us what's called a maximized floor plan, which is wherever there can be a booth, they put a booth. And then what we do is we go in and we say, we got to get rid of the booths here because they're one, like right next to the bathroom. They're too close to the eating area. We need more space here. So we end up chopping out a lot of booths. And one of the things we wanted to do last year was get rid of all those booths along the wall. And what ended up happening was when we showed the floor map to some of these vendors, they're like, oh, we want to be right there. And, we were like, well, you do know, like, that's up against the wall. They're like, yeah. We want to be there. That's great. That's where we want to be. And like, for instance, I think one of the vendors was 1,000 toys, and we had them placed somewhere close to where the Metacom booth was. And they were like, we need more space. We need more area. And we ended up like saying like, well, where do you want to be? And they're like, right over here. And that's why they were over there. So there you go.
People chose it. All right.
How much did you hate listening to that wrap-up episode that we did last year?
I just want you to know I hate you guys.
Oh, Ben, no!
You're not the only one. George and I got nasty phone calls about it.
I heard.
Yeah, there was much hate after that episode.
Yeah, I heard about that. You know what?
Ben, I love you, right? It's all just
I know
conversation.
Feedback is good, and honest feedback is really good. So I appreciate your honest feedback. That's all.
And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, everything we say on this show is just our opinions, and you shouldn't care about our opinions.
Yeah, I mean,
not just you, but everybody.
Yeah,
people out there.
I'm not concerned about you guys and your 10 listeners. Like seriously, guys. Like,
Ben, burn.
Take your time.
We have more than 10. We have like 12. But no, I mean, I at the end of the day, though, I don't. If we didn't reiterate enough, like we obviously love this show. It's a big thing in our scene. And so we just want it to be good, and we like talking about
I
it.
appreciate that. No, I know, and we love you guys, and we love the fact that Gary still fills out a press application to get in.
I don't like to assume anything. I assume everyone still hates me or whatever from last wrap-up episode, so I'm like, I gotta apply. Maybe they don't want us there this year.
We love you guys, and like I said, the show only gets better because we take in that feedback, and if we didn't, then who knows what would happen to the show. It's like if it was just all about like what I want to do and me, then the show would be a wreck. But luckily I listen, or I think I listen, although George might contest to that. And
Ben never listens.
At least in terms of toy production. But we do take feedback, and we do need it, so it's good that you guys gave it.
Okay, what are some things that you're really excited about that have changed for this year's DesignerCon?
Well, some of the things I already mentioned.
Yeah.
Beyond Eden, that's a huge thing. That was, I was friends with Greg Escalante, and he pretty much ran the whole like Littletopia Beyond Eden scene at the LA Art Show. And when I heard that Littletopia was not coming back to the LA Art Show because something happened, I think LA Art Show was like, this is not fit into where we want to be or what we want to do. It's like, I was like, man, we got to give this thing a new home, because that was like one of the main reasons I would go to the LA Art Show. So Beyond Eden being part of DesignerCon, that's like a huge thing for me. Another thing is the apparel, like I mentioned. We're getting more streetwear brands involved, and there's a huge crossover with that world and the toy world and the art world. So we're really excited about getting all these like streetwear vendors to participate in the show. I think if you did come to the show last year, you probably saw some of it already happening. It's just getting a little bit bigger in terms of that. Other stuff that's like going on, I mean, we're getting even more bigger international vendors coming in. Like one of the ones that we're really excited about is Pop Mart. Pop Mart is huge in Asia, and they're coming to DesignerCon this year. So I think there's a company, 52 Toys, which is also very huge, and they're coming to DesignerCon this year. So all these toy brands, which are usually, it's like very hard to get their products here in the US, or if you do get them, they're extremely limited in nature. All these manufacturers are coming to DCon, and it's very exciting.
I am stoked about Pop Mart coming. That's going to be exciting because I obviously love Pop Mart. It's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay,
awesome.
One of the apparel companies you mentioned was Extra Large, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the big whopping sections on the map in the top left corner, it says Extra Large Basketball Court. And
yes.
No joke, I thought it was called Extra Large Basketball Court because it was just simply extra large, like big. But now that I'm hearing it's the name of a company, it's making a little more sense. But
yes.
is it a legit basketball court? Like you can go play a few hoops?
Yeah, it's a basketball court. It's an actual.
Just for fun?
Yeah, just for fun. I think they just wanted to like come in, and they're like, "What are you guys doing with this section?" And we're like, "We're probably just gonna leave it empty." And they're like, "Well, can we put in a basketball court and do giveaways if you play and have fun things there for people to get?" And we're like, "Yeah, no problem. If you guys want to put that in, here it is. There you go."
You never turn down an idea, do you, Ben?
If it sounds fun and it sounds like something that I would want to go to and see, then yeah, why would I?
Yeah, it's fun. I won't lie. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell? Like, does that say basketball? Like, what? But then I was like, you know what? It could be kind of fun to like challenge you in horse Gary. See if you have any athletic ability. Or if I would like destroy you. And if I could win stuff at the same time, it's like a cherry on top.
You would never beat me in horse.
Oh, it is on.
Ben, is there netting? You know, in basketball, like rebounds and bad passes that Teresa's going to be making, those basketballs are going flying into the other aisle. So is there netting around the basketball court?
I don't know exactly how they're setting it up. but I would assume there's going to be something around it to prohibit the balls from going all over the place.
All of Teresa's air balls just flying out into the audience.
Oh my gosh. This is the perfect time for me to use my word of the day from Gary. Gary, TTC Gary. Where is it? Hold on. I got to say it right. You are such a plonker.
A plonker? What's a plonker?
Yes, this is America, Teresa. Stop saying those UK words.
Well, it basically means you're being a dick. So.
Oh. So kind of like...
freaking plonker. You're going to airball. But it's a good point.
It's a wanker. You're a wanker.
No, so apparently dick, wanker, and plonker are all synonyms.
There you go.
It's your education for the day. And I just apparently said a lot of dirty words all at once.
Stay on target.
I'll go wash my mouth out of the soap after this.
There you go. But in terms of the basketball court, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of kids, because we do get a lot of families that come to the show. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of kids just go there and play there. So that's actually one of the main reasons why I was like, that might be really cool, because a lot of families might enjoy that.
For sure.
I really want to challenge some of my favorite artists. I want to go up and grab Dan from Box or Vin from My Plastic Heart, or go and grab Jeremiah Kettner and be like, all right,
because they have nothing better to do.
5v5 teams. We're going crazy.
This isn't a show where I have to work a booth and sell stuff. Of course I'll go and challenge you in basketball right now.
You should set up some really nice 5-on-5 teams.
Like a tournament?
We do have a tournament that's going to be happening inside the hall this year.
A basketball tournament?
Not a basketball tournament. We are going to have the first ever Wacom Secret Walls digital tournament happening inside of DesignerCon this year. And it's
like a digital paint war kind of thing?
Yeah. So it's basically going to be Secret Walls, where it's once again teams, and everything is going to be done through the Wacom tablets. And by the way, the reason why we're doing this is so that Wacom is going to be presenting for the first time their brand new tablets, which are debuting at DesignerCon. And the artists involved will be able to use these brand new tablets. And I think there's going to be 3 or 4 rounds within the entire weekend. And the champion team will actually get each artist, because there's teams of 2, each artist will be able to take home a brand new Wacom tablet.
Oh, Gary, there you go. That's how you get some new technology up in there. Get signed up.
There you go.
Battle it out.
Huh, Gary? Huh? Huh?
I need a computer, not a Wacom.
Oh.
Is it really Wacom? Not
I think it's Wacom, right?
I don't know.
Wacom.
I always said Wacom, but I don't know.
Whatever. Since we're plugging Wacom, let's go ahead and plug some of our sponsors. So we got 3 great stores for you. There's 3D Retro, which Ben is the owner of.
Yeah.
And then there is Strange Cat Toys and My Plastic Heart. You can visit any one of their websites. If you do, you can use some promo codes. You can go to strangecattoys.com, use our promo code Marsham, and you'll receive 10% off that entire order. Or you can go to myplasticheart.com if you live in the States and spend $75 or more. Use our promo code TOYFAM at checkout, and you'll receive free shipping on that order. Otherwise, to stay on top of all the latest and greatest in designer toy news, be sure to like and follow SpankyStokes.com and TheToyChronicle.com.
Oh, what else? I'm trying to think.
Can we also remind people that besides this giant cluster F of things that are happening, there are also millions of regular booths with stuff to buy.
Absolutely.
That artists hand make and paint and slave over for the year to bring to you to purchase for your loved ones.
Yes, absolutely.
How many are there, Ben? How many total vendors?
I don't have a final count, but it's I think a little over 700 vendors.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
You use shite! Oh my gosh, you make Gary so happy.
So you can't possibly still have a wait list, can you? I know for years you guys had that short wait list, and
we do. We have a wait list.
Damn.
But here's the thing, and we say this all the time, the wait list and, the people that get into the show, it's all curated at this point. Because we have to see who's going in. And a lot of the time people will say like, oh, that's bullshit. Why are you doing that? Like, well, you know what? Like a lot of the people that are trying to add themselves to the wait list right now are like the guys that sell walls and walls of Funko Pop. So like that's just one of the things. Or we'll get somebody that puts themselves on the wait list and we'll take a look at their website and they sell one pin. So, we'll sometimes direct those people to Enamel Market and we'll be like, we really don't recommend that you do this because all you're selling is one pin, but here's Enamel Market. And if you really want to do it, you should do it with them, But yeah, we have to curate. We have to make sure that the show has still the quality value in it and not just like filler. And that's the way you do it. You curate the show.
Now, last year, I know one of the things we talked about is the booths are very much intermingled, right? So you could be walking down an aisle and you're seeing plush, shirts, fan art, designer toys, kind of all intermixed. Did you make any changes to the layout of the floor plan at all to group anything differently? Or is it pretty much still intermingled and people just kind of plopped where they wanted to be kind of a thing? Or do you just put them in the spot?
No, it's still pretty intermingled. We have had requests of some vendors and artists that, they're like, can I be next to so-and-so? Can these, 10 companies, because we know each other really well, can you put us like across from each other or in the same aisle? So we accommodate that. Of course, we'll be like, yeah, of course, if you guys feel comfortable doing that. We do the same thing for, like, for instance, the Japanese vendors. They help each other out. They speak, all Japanese and assist each other during the show. So, they ask to be grouped together, and that's what we do. So even though we try to spread it out and kind of, sprinkle a little bit of this here, sprinkle a little bit of that there are some little areas where we have been requested, hey, can you put us together? And we do it.
Like the Glyos section where we all sell Glyos related toys. You can buy all the Glyos stuff from that area where I will be.
And by the way, the 4 Horsemen are coming to DesignerCon this year, which is awesome.
Legends of the toy industry.
Yep.
20 years.
And Medicom's coming back, right, Ben?
Yes, they are. And Medicom.
Sorry. 4 Horsemen are fantastic. I just
love it. Legends of the toy industry. And by the way, Medicom's coming back. Medicom is coming back. So last year, Medicom came to the show for the first time. They wanted to see what it was all about. They came in big, and we're glad that they did. But after they did the show, they kind of like went back to the board with us and like, okay, let's release a couple more things that are more relevant to the show and get involved more with the artists. So if you guys have been keeping up with some of the posts that are happening, yeah. So the other thing is, if you guys don't follow the hashtag DesignerCon, I highly recommend that you follow that hashtag too, because just like George said, we have hundreds of amazing vendors, just amazing vendors. And they're all just creating just such great things. And if you follow that hashtag, you'll be able to see a good portion of those things as they're being made. So I highly recommend you do that. And,
I was gonna say, I also recommend people check out the stories you post, because you all can't repost a bunch of stuff to your page, but I know you repost Instagram stories up the wazoo. And I'll never forget, like last year before the event, I was seeing a crap ton of stuff through DesignerCon stories. So I was like paging through it, like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
So staying on top of that is helpful as well.
Yeah, because aside from doing the hashtag, a lot of our vendors tag us, which notifies us, but then we're like, okay, well, how do we tell everybody else without reposting this on our actual posts? So we do a lot of stories. We take the stories and we repost them that way, and yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. So keep an eye on that, and you'll see a lot of things happening, including some of the stuff that we're doing with Metacom.
Now, Ben, real quick, anything people tag DesignerCon shows on your page, right?
If they tag it, yes. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that won't tag us. They'll just do the hashtag DesignerCon, and we actually follow that too. So a lot of the time, some of the stories that you see, they didn't tag us. They just did a hashtag, and we saw it that way. So, that's why I always say, like, follow the hashtag too, which Instagram allows you to do that. So, and you can see a lot more that way.
Okay, talk Bear Bricks. I'm sorry.
Bear Bricks? What about Bear Bricks?
I want to hear. So we've seen a few sneaky peeks of this DesignerCon artist series, and I've seen 3 so far: Vinny, the mascot for Decon, a Kano, and a Joe Ledbetter.
You see, you're assuming again. You're assuming that one of those is part of the artist series.
It's because I'm looking at a post from Toys All Evil that says DesignerCon Artist Series Bear Bricks for Decon 2019.
Exactly. Fake news.
All right, we'll clarify.
You said one of those, so I'm going to assume the Vinny is available through one of the VIP passes.
First of all, Vinny was the VTN mascot. Vincent.
Sorry.
That's right.
Vincent. George is the mascot of DesignerCon.
George, yeah.
We're calling him Vincent for some reason.
You can get your very own George Bear Brick included. The George Bear Brick is included in the VIP package that you get. So if you are a VIP or an MVP, last year we gave you an Andy Warhol Bear Brick, and this year you will be receiving the mascot Bear Brick.
Nice.
So,
what about Press? Does Press get one?
No.
Damn you!
Press doesn't get anything. You guys have to stand in line like everybody else.
Curses to DesignerCon. Let me ask you this: last year you guys did the DesignerCon Dunny series, and one of the things that we complained about last year is there was not enough stock of that brought to the convention.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A lot of people weren't able to get it.
I have no idea what you're saying here.
I'm saying
I plead the fifth.
Is Metacom bringing enough supply of the Bear Bricks to potentially reach most attendees?
Yes, okay. They are definitely bringing enough of the. We still think that they will sell out by the end of the show, not by the beginning of the show. Okay. We still think that they'll sell out, but there's going to be. Metacom doesn't produce large quantities of products anyway, aside from their Bear Brick Blind Box series. So when they do something like this, where it's an artist series or a pack or whatever it may be that we're working on, it's still limited numbers.
So Ben, are they blind box like typical Bear Brick, and you can buy a blind or a case of blinds?
I don't know.
Well,
this is exactly how we knew it was going to go. We're going to get PR answers, Teresa. He wants to keep things a surprise.
He's dangling his little carrot, I don't know. You're just going to have to wait and see.
Okay, you guys want the exclusive? You
guys want some scoop.
Okay, you want the scoop? Oh, Kevin's not going to like this. All right.
How many are there? You just buy a set.
There is, this year at DesignerCon in the Metacom booth, we will have a DesignerCon Artist Series 5-pack available for purchase.
Sweet.
And
don't give any more news. Kevin will kill you.
I'm not going to tell you the rest of the artists. The only thing I can tell you is keep an eye on Instagram. All the artists have their Bear Bricks, and they will slowly be doing their little sneak peeks. So far, 2 artists have done sneak peeks as of taping the show, and that's Kano and Joe Ledbetter. But there's now that there's a 5-pack, there's 3 more artists, not including the Vincent one. There's 3 more Bear Bricks, which are going to be shown very soon.
Whew. I like it. Thank you, Ben, for the stupid.
There you go.
And Ben, I just want to give you all kudos because I won't lie, the Bear Bricks last year were not the most exciting thing because really it was just a logo on a bear brick.
Yeah.
And so when you see like the cereals with the Freddy Funko bear brick and all this stuff, you're thinking, oh, we're gonna get like these, special printed bear bricks. So for me, I was like, okay, like I was expecting more. So seeing this, I'm excited. I'm like, okay, this is what I thought that they were gonna do with the whole Metacom collaboration. So kudos, I like it.
Thank you.
You're doing a good thing.
We're always trying to improve from the previous year. And a lot of it has to do with time limitations. Like when we started working with Metacom last year, we were very restricted on, our time and what we could do and what we could print. And, as soon as the show ends, we were able to go back to Metacom and tell them like, hey, we've got some ideas. Let's get started on them now. And you're now seeing what those are. And honestly, guys, you have just seen the tip of the iceberg because there's so much more stuff. It's awesome. It's going to be so cool.
I'm excited. Now, do you know, is Metacom going to have, last year, I know along with the, they had kind of like art gallery inside their booth and all that, but they also brought a lot of artists along with them. Are they planning to do that again?
So, last year, I think they brought something like 10 or 15 artists from Japan. And even though it was kind of exciting to see these artists, like the crowd really didn't care too much. So we're not bringing in a lot of Japanese artists, and I'll leave it at that. But we're still working on having actual signings at the Metacom booth. One of the things we're working on is, of course, getting the artists involved in the series to be doing signings at the booth, even though they also, or should I say, a lot of them have their own booths that you can find them at and get them to sign. And then, we're working with, as time goes by, you will see a couple of the projects that we've been working on that we'll get to announce, and those artists involved in those projects will also be signing at the Metacom booth. George knows one because he was in charge of the sculpting and the paint sampling of it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea what we're talking about. I honestly don't. I zoned out. Good host. So one question I have every year, I don't know if people know this or not, if people keep their badges or not, but every year the badges are designed by a different artist.
Yes.
Have you guys announced who this year's artist is for the badge design, or are you announcing that?
Yeah, actually we did announce it. If you were to look at our website, George.
I haven't looked at the map. Teresa knows more about the map. She probably even knows where my booth is. I haven't looked at any of it yet.
Teresa,
I do. You're in the left hall, kind of near the top, similar to last year.
All right.
Yeah. Teresa, do you know who the person that's designing the badges this year?
No.
The artist who's designing the badges this year is Stephen Harrington.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of those people are.
He's the guy who does the repeating patterns.
Yeah, he does repeating patterns a lot. He also is really popular for like this very LA vibey type of art with like lots of palm trees, and he has these fun characters that he creates, and he's a really cool artist. Like he's done collaborations with clothing brands and Nike and all kinds of stuff, and we're really excited to have him do the badge designs for us.
Where is it on the website?
It's on the homepage.
Is it?
Yeah, if you're looking on the homepage where it has highlights, 2019 highlights, you'll see a lot of things there.
Oh, okay. You can see his artwork. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You can also see that the stage this year is run by Network, and
So there are going to be panels again.
there will be panels. Yes, there will be awesome panels this year, actually.
Will the panels be located right next to a person playing really loud music like last year?
No, we're actually placing the panels right next to your booth.
That's fine.
Actually, right inside of your booth.
Oh, so panels are George's booth.
That's right. If you want to talk about anything, just come to George's booth.
He loves to talk about stuff.
But seriously, are they in a more like dedicated area? Because I think last year, not only did I hear there was music by it, but then any announcements made it hard for the panels to be heard. And
Yeah. So if you actually take a look at the map, you'll see exactly where the stage is, and it's basically last year where we had the Funko cereal stuff. That's where the stage is this year.
Oh, the
So
pocket left side.
it's
Okay.
closer to the front. You don't have to like make your way to the back of the hall. It's closer to the front. It's just easier access and just it's better.
I like that 'cause it's kind of its own little section then.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're working on stuff. We do things.
It's like
Yeah.
he's listening, you guys.
Right?
Sometimes.
I know something else we haven't asked about. Stuff going on in the nighttime. So after parties, vendor parties, is there stuff going on Friday and Saturday night?
So that's actually still very much in the works. I know that we're like 30 days out and we're supposed to have all this done, but we don't. So one of the things is like the after parties, for instance, cost the show like a lot of money. Like for instance, the arena last year just cost us a ton. And we wanted to avoid this huge expense and loss for us. So we're not doing like this huge, rock show this year. We are talking to a couple of companies that are involved with the show this year. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to basically get them to be like, look, if you're going to throw an event or you're going to be a party, going to throw a party, then can we please have it so that we can just basically tell people, look, if you have a Decon badge, you can get into this for free and have a good time here. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
And would it be, so I can't remember, is there usually a Friday night thing and a Saturday night thing, or is it just one night?
It's usually Saturday night because Friday night, the hall closes at 9 p.m.
That's right. It's the late VIP thing.
And, from what we've heard from a lot of vendors is, look, I'd love to go, but the hall opens back up Saturday at 9 a.m. to VIPs. So It's like, for them, it's like, I got to go get some rest and sleep and make sure I'm ready for tomorrow, which that's what we want them to be.
That makes sense to me.
Yep.
And we actually have already something going on for Sunday night after the show. We've teamed up with Think Space Gallery, and there's an art show going on not too far from the convention center, where anybody that has any form of DesignerCon badge, they'll be able to come to the show, and there's like going to be free food and drinks and things like that. So we'll be announcing that soon as well.
Cool.
And that's like the Sunday night after the show is over type of thing. Like, ooh, we can all relax and just mingle now.
Hang.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us will be tearing our booths down.
Yeah, but after that, you can go to this.
Some
Yeah.
of us have to work on Monday.
Oh, George.
No, you don't. Come on.
Colin's sick. Is there any other big questions, Gary or George, you want to get to? Because I was thinking with the handful of questions we have left, a lot of them were listeners' questions, and I thought we could treat them as lightning rounds. We could just hit you with the question, Ben. You answer real quick, and we move on.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think that's the
Gary,
best. I don't think we need to do any. Yeah, I think we've pretty much hit everything that we need to on this one. I mean, I don't know how much more I can jab.
Okay, here. Let's go through some of these remaining questions and kind of just hit them. Boom, 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 Ben. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Decon app. Is that coming back this year?
Yes, we are working on that right now.
Cool. So the old app, will we be updating it or downloading a whole new one?
It should be an update to the old app.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Okay, this is actually one for me, but I'm technically a listener too. I need details on this whole LAX shuttle stuff. Last year, I flew into Santa Ana, and it was great. It was really close. It was really hard for me to find flights this year, and I had to fly into LAX. So can you do a very quick rundown? If I want to take advantage of the cheap Disney shuttles to get to and from, how do I do that? Where do I go?
What I would do is probably visit the LAX website and or visit one of the shuttle companies. Like there's Blue Shuttles and I forgot what the red one's called, but probably visit the LAX website and it'll have a link to all these shuttle companies, including the Disney shuttle. You can also probably go to the Disneyland website, and they have information there like, hey, if you're arriving from LAX, here's how you can get to the park, or here's how you can get to the hotel. And they'll have a lot of information there on how to book it, make a reservation, where to go while you're at LAX, depending on where you land, and all that good stuff.
Okay. And that's what you'd recommend, right? To get a shuttle versus like a taxi or a Uber or whatever.
Yeah, if you're coming from LAX, it's still like a good 45-minute drive, depending on traffic. Like it could even be longer than that. So taking a shuttle is your best route.
Okay, cool. Let's see. We covered that. We talked about clear. Okay, learning from last year, will you have clear signage for where the queue will start? And have you thought of how to prioritize fairness for all attendees in combating queue cutters or people sneaking into the venue ahead of the formal queue, which was a problem last year?
Which queue are you talking about?
It sounds like the queue to get in by that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's VIP or non-VIP, but it sounds like it was confusing as far as where it would start and monitoring of people not cheating and just staying in the line and not cutting.
We had a pretty good control over that last year. We basically had, so there's a hall called Hall E. There's a huge sign that says, line up down here, and there's a big arrow. We had a bunch of people directing people over there, and, when you got there, you would just get in line. We actually checked in the VIPs down there. We had our equipment, and we would check them in, give them their badge, and basically when the doors opened, we would guide them up the escalator to the front doors. They got a little something at the door, giveaway from whatever sponsor we had that day, and they were let inside the hall, and that was it. Now, anybody that shows up while that line is happening is basically told to line up separately. So while that line is coming in, there's another line forming in the lobby area of other VIPs, basically people that have decided, like, you know what, I'm not going to stand in line downstairs in Hall E. I'm just going to come back when the hall is open at 9, and I'm just going to go in then. Well, they thought they would just be able to walk in. They can't. There was actually a separate line, and they have to wait till all those people in line at Hall E got in before we let that second line in as well.
Gotcha. So at the end of the day, if you want to come and line up early, you don't have to go anywhere and get your badge first. You literally find the giant sign, get in line, and wait, and you'll get taken care of all that shindig while you're there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, this is a little bit of a hardball. Don't be mad. It's not my question.
Okay.
Why do you see artists like Reelhead and Stink Toy Gokudo? Gokudo, sorry. That poor artist, I butchered your name. And others that exhibited Decon for many years, no longer vending at the event.
Why are they no longer vending?
Yeah, why do you think that artists are no longer vending? Do you feel like it's, I don't know, why do you think? Is it because of the change in the venue and the size, or is it concerning when you see people who've been attending for a while choose not to come back?
We actually see a lot of vendors do come back. Our rate of return is about 90%. So I'm not really concerned about when, one out of 10 don't come back. If that, I mean, I think our rate of return is actually higher than 90%. One of the things you have to remember is just because an artist doesn't do the show this year doesn't mean that they're not going to come back next year. There could be all kinds of things in play that we don't know about, especially the guys flying from overseas. They might have another event that they need to do. They might have a gallery show they need to do. They might not have enough money for an airline ticket. There's a lot of things in play, and clearly we're not going to get upset over it. We understand that not every artist can make it to the show every year. The only thing we can hope is that, look, if they don't do it this year, they'll come back next year. We have artists this year that didn't do the show for the past 2 years, and they're coming back. And
that's an unfair question, because look at, there's artists, we just had the Mujus on a couple weeks ago. They love Decon. They had a baby and can't come this year. It doesn't mean they don't want to be there. They'd love to be there, but I'm sure they're not going to be there this year. They probably won't be there next year. That's just.
No, I think Muju's coming this year.
Ben, I'm sorry to break it to you, but they're not.
No.
You should definitely check that booth space off, because they are not going to be there.
Yeah, she's preggers, and she actually, I don't think their baby's been born yet, but it should be here any day. So yeah, they actually told us we had them on, and they're not coming. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, okay. Well, we have Muju World on the map, so.
It was the same thing with Mutant Vinyl Hardcore when he was on. Rich was saying that his wife was due any day now, so he won't be attending DesignerCon this year because of that too.
Yep. Well, and you think about even Instinct Toy and 5 Points, they didn't come this year, and it's because they had a conflict with another show. So I get it. I think we could speculate, just like you say. We like to speculate when carrots are dangled, and it's possible that people aren't returning because maybe they didn't do as well as they did in previous years, but there's always various reasons. So it just is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay. Are vendors going to be suggested to run lottery systems to avoid running excessive lines, etc.? I think you've kind of already answered that. You don't really tell booths how to run. They do their own thing, right?
Correct. Yeah. We just feel that it's not fair for us to tell vendors how to sell their products, or when to sell their products, or to who to sell their products. Look, if a vendor decides to sell a product a certain way or a certain time, the only thing we can do is we can ask them to do something, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. It's not up to us. If you don't like it, take it up with the vendor. That's it. We're here just providing a space where all these vendors can be to sell their products. How they sell those products and to who, that's up to them.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
I approve.
Thank you.
Okay, someone was saying something about punch and pie, and I think it was an inside joke. Does anyone know what the heck Scott Cattler was talking about?
I have
that's
no
a
idea.
South Park reference.
Yeah.
Is it?
Will there be punch and pie?
Yeah, what the heck's that mean?
That's
Am I just that?
It's just something that Cartman says.
It makes more people show up if you tell them there'll be punch and pie. That should just be on the next billboard. Come to Decon, there will be punch and pie.
We lost Teresa.
Oh no.
I think she found out that there's no punch and pie here.
She doesn't know South Park. We don't need her. Let's see. How do we get her back?
You need to add her? How do we add somebody?
I'm adding her.
Okay.
She's like, bring me back. Let's see. You got it, Gary?
We're calling her.
All right.
It's calling. How are you enjoying this so far, Ben?
Good. It's good. A couple of tough questions. It's actually, I take that back. They're not tough. They're not tough questions. It's the questions that come from people that are just either misinformed or are just second guessing. And that's fine, because we're kind of used to that. Like every time we do a post on Instagram, there's always like somebody that has to say something or asks a million questions, and like, no, that's not it at all. Like, you're just assuming things. So it's kind of like that, you know. There's one, we have this post on Instagram that we promoted, and it's literally like, you know, DesignerCon tickets on sale now or something like that. And somebody posted on there like I would never go to your show after the
Hello?
Yay, Teresa's back.
Sorry. I do Skype on my phone, and I was trying to move the little window out of the way, and I accidentally hung up.
Oh, hey, I'm being told to wrap it up by the wife.
Oh,
so
okay. I have two more lightning questions.
Two more lightning questions. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. Someone wants to know, any chance of DesignerCon ever returning to Pasadena, or is that done and it's Anaheim or bust?
As much as we love Pasadena, though, just the sheer size of the show and the types of vendors that we have, we can't go back there. It's Anaheim. That's it.
Okay. And then last one, any chance of booking a different weekend versus the weekend before Thanksgiving? I know that. Okay, good. Because I second this, because it is a really hard time booking flights because it's really expensive that weekend.
So our goal is that we want to move the show to Veterans Day weekend every year.
Oh, so beginning of November?
It's actually we're only moving it down, or moving it up, I guess, 1 week earlier. But it's just, it's 1 week. But it's also a 3-day weekend. So what happens is a lot of people that want to spend all 3 days at the show and then, you know, get some rest afterwards, they have that Monday off.
Oh, that's right. It's the 18th, so it'd be just the weekend before.
Correct. Yeah.
I dig it.
And next year is our first year that we're doing that.
Oh, yeah, you are doing it. Okay, that makes me happy.
Cool.
All right, Ben.
Okay.
Well, I think you've officially made Teresa happy. You gave us a scoop, and we got to mute Gary for the whole beginning of the Funko stuff, so that was good. I've now hosted an episode, so I'm an actual host again, and I think we should wrap this up by telling everyone where they can find everyone. Ben, where can people follow you?
Follow DesignerCon at DesignerCon on Instagram, on Facebook, facebook.com/Instagram. If you still use Twitter, then twitter.com/DesignerCon. And just the hashtag DesignerCon, all that good stuff.
DesignerCon.com.
There it is.
Teresa.
Okay, Ben, you can leave if you don't want to stay through our outros, if you really got to go.
I really got to go.
Okay.
Bye, Ben.
Thank you,
See you guys.
Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Well, I'll finish
Teresa.
up. So, yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
Okay. If you all want to find me, check me out on Instagram, tmhawk24.
Gary?
Gary Ham on Instagram.
And I'm Double G Toys on Instagram. I forgot. I forgot what it was for a second. Thanks.
Why are you so official? This is weird.
Because I forgot what the end.
Yes, you're weirding him out. He's being a host.
Is he?
You got
like, he's usually the one here, like, playing video games and stuff. Like,
I don't play video games.
The truth comes out.
All right, wait. What's the outro? I forget what it says.
You say, hey, this has been another week of Marsham Toy Hour. We do this every week, not because we had to go to.
What'd she just say? This has been Marsham Toy Hour. You're the ham bones. And we do this every week, not because we want to,
but because we have to.
Wait, what? That's not right.
I know, but I'm following along anyway.
Let's end this.
All right, that's it.
Until our next transmission.
Until our next transmission, we're signing off.
Oh, this is good.
Bye.
Oh, Gary.
That was Gary.
Did you burp again? No, he didn't. Did he really?
Yeah,
Keep it in.
he did.
You're disgusting. Just call
It's been
it.
requested. He has to keep it.
Yes, I have to keep doing it.
Disgusting.
All right, we're signing off.
All right, later, guys.
Gary, did you
This is
record
fun.
that all?
Yeah, we're good. I have it. Yep.
All right, cool.
Bye, Jess.
Hey,
Jess,
bye,
will you
Jess.
be at
Bye, all.
DesignerCon?
Yeah, she'll be there.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
of course I'll be there.
Okay, good.
I'll be
All
the
right.
one at our booth when George runs off with all of his friends. Leaves me.
That's true.
All right, all. I got some sloppy joes to go eat. I gotta
All right.
go.
Love Joe.
Sloppy
All right,
Joe.
this is fun.
All right, bye all.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Get him. Get him.